No, I usually don't, but I'll put them up here on the screen. I read them.
So it's 5:30, and I'm going to call the meeting to order. Absent today are Scott Sassy. Luke is with his theater group, and Linda has COVID. Yeah, so, but we're here. We have a quorum. We're good.
Okay.
Did everyone have a chance to read the minutes from last time? Any comments on them?
Good comments. Good minutes. A+.
Yes, yes. Marissa does a great job. So would somebody like to, if there's no comments, would somebody make a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second the motion.
Yeah.
Okay. The minutes are accepted as approved. And we have nobody from the public here. And did Scott give you anything for a report?
No, but I'm supposed to meet with him tomorrow, so he'll probably give me an update. He couldn't be here just tonight because he had something going on.
Okay, okay, no liaison no notes from Scott. Okay, so my report, I hope everybody had a chance to read it. So, Christy, I hope you didn't think I was treading on your feet.
I loved it. No,
So-
it was amazing. I was like,
I was telling Marissa that, so those of us who knew Lizzie and worked with her, that when you went to Lizzie with a question, she always came back with not just the answer to the question, but all these other things you never knew, you didn't know, and you hadn't thought of. And so I kept thinking about what was about the policy that was bothering me, and I thought, it's not a Lizzie experience. And I thought maybe we should try to like give a lot more information because we want people to donate, right? So I will tell you that Linda disagrees with me, which is why we are talking about it here, because it's like, this has to be something that everybody agrees with or we don't do it. Linda wants, like, she was proposing an even more austere policy, one that doesn't even mention the Friends or the Foundation, but it's like, the library doesn't exist without the Friends of the Foundation. Marissa, is it a state or a county issue where the library has to have a Friends group?
I don't think,
There's, in some of the legal stuff that I read, those thick things that I actually read at one point in time, that you have to have a Friends group. It's either the county or the state. It's not I think it's the state regulations about libraries.
it wouldn't be the county, it would have.
Yes, with the state. The libraries of a certain size have to have a Friends group. So to me, to talk about the library without talking about the Friends and the Foundation, just made a lot more sense. And I mean, for Marissa, as long as I've been involved with the Friends, the Kiwanis has made a donation every year, and sometimes twice a year. I mean, when I was the chair of the Friends, they made a donation of at least $1,000 a year, and sometimes more. And they always have somebody from the Friends come to speak because they have weekly meetings, and they also have, because you and Philip went, right? They also have, the Kiwanis is totally committed to the library. And so mentioning to people, hey, if you donate stuff to the Kiwanis, it comes back to the library. So then after we went back and forth about this, Marissa came back with another idea about, and I have my notes here someplace, Marissa. It was an idea, but I really liked it, that the idea of if people want to donate art, or, of having basically an art sale once a year, and, selling it to the public, and people basically can donate it, and then,
Maybe you could sell it during your garden tours.
Well, and that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking this is because, should be something that the Friends do.
Mhm.
That the Friends accept donations of art and have a sale once a year. And they could also, solicit like teenagers and stuff like that to do that. So I actually think that should be passed to the Friends. Does that make sense? Well, I think that it's still, it doesn't change. So I'm going to shut up. I would like to know what other people would like to do with this policy. I suggested one thing, Linda suggested the other end of the spectrum, so. Christy, since,
Yeah, I mean, I think that for me, the decision is, are we giving like little to no information that either you contact this entity or this entity, but the library is not involved? Or are we like giving everybody all of the options? That's probably just restating what you said, but I'm just kind of like
put it in your words,
digesting
that's fine.
And so I guess, I don't know, I can see pros and cons for both. I mean, I guess giving folks plenty of information maybe makes it so that they don't have to come to the folks at the library and ask all their questions. They can get most of them answered in this policy, which is good. Still talking it out.
Amy, how do you feel?
I love that idea. It popped in my head, but what if the teen liaison could connect the high school art people also?
I like that.
That would be a
idea, too.
really neat joint effort in our community. Wouldn't that be? I mean, maybe they won't, but it's worth a shot.
Absolutely.
Well, I think it just shows again the kind of importance of community,
Mm-hmm.
and that letting the library be the focus of it.
Yeah.
And then kids can say they sold their art, which is, I'm sure that budding artists would love to say that.
I think so too.
So back to the policy, the more robust or the leaner, more austere? What do you think?
I really like putting that to the Friends to take care of. I think that it should just be, we don't accept this, but this is who does, and
Okay. Rick?
Yeah, what are you referring to now as far as
I sent
the
out,
latest version? I'm sorry, I might not have
okay,
it.
I sent out a much more robust version of the policy. It was in the packet.
Okay, is this here?
Yes, expanded version.
So we're looking at the entire page here as?
Yes.
As the, okay,
Yes.
all right. I'm
Yes.
sorry I missed that.
Okay. I'm going to go on to Tiffany.
Yeah,
What
go
do you
on
think
and let
that?
me read it quickly.
Tiffany, what do you think?
I prefer the more robust description or policy
Okay.
format. I like that idea a lot. Giving people, and I like the idea of having most of their questions being able to be answered without, necessarily bothering the library. But yeah, and giving options.
Jen?
I'm in between. I think a compromise would be best. I'm thinking particularly of a dear lady who is dealing with her mother-in-law's estate, and she had all this beautiful art that she was selling last weekend, and not all the paintings sold. She was a local artist in Canby. She's still alive, but she's in a care facility. Anyway, without making it too cumbersome on the Friends of the Library, if they knew that they could donate this artwork that could then be sold for a profit that would go to an organization such as the library, I think that would be wonderful. But, so number one, I think that when somebody says, I want to donate, I'm going to go on the library website and I want to see how to donate, it should be user-friendly and they should understand who to contact depending on what they have. So I'm into the more comprehensive in that angle. But the second part is I'm not a member of the Friends, and I should be, and I don't know, this administrative work is going to fall on someone. And are they willing to take it on? That's my
They have in
concern.
the past, but that was under a different board. We have sold, the Friends have sold art in the past for, excuse me, that's just my sister, with the money going to basically, the Friends budget, because everything the Friends raises goes straight to the library.
Right.
There's no other.
Right, they exist for the library.
That's right, that's the
yes.
only reason they
Right.
exist. So, in all my time, in all my 6 years with the Friends, the only time we spent money on something other than specifically the library was when Irene left, we used some money. We used a couple $100 to buy gifts for Irene. I mean, that's it. I mean, other than, yeah, when we have sales, we've tried to buy ice cream from Cuts First and they've donated it, you know, the little ice cream cups. You know, Mike, the store manager, is just wonderful about, I mean, it's ridiculous how, you know, we've gone over there prepared to buy ice cream and Mike has donated it to us. So I can honestly say that my 6 years with the Friends, we never spent a penny on anything other than the library, other than the gifts for Irene when she left, when she retired. So, I mean, I happen to know that that's the only reason the Friends exist, is they exist to support the library. It's their only mission. I think it might be worth asking them. I actually agree that I think that an art sale would be something. I just don't know I mean, the board has a lot of members on it now that I'm, you know, I don't really know, but they only have, okay. They did do a 2-house Christmas tour of homes last year. They will be doing another garden tour this year. It's earlier. And they have the big sale at the same day that the summer reading kickoff is. That's been set. And, you know, we go to Swan Island the Sunday of Labor Day weekend. They give us a free, we don't have to pay to show up and sell our wares. And we put a lot of the newer, like really nice books in that sale, and we charge a lot more for them. But there really isn't, I mean, this is something that has been talked about in the past, about doing, you know, an art sale, doing something with the high school and stuff like that. But I don't know when their board meetings have changed so many times since I was on the board. When's their next meeting? Do you know, Marissa?
They have a meeting tomorrow, but that's gonna be like one of the main things we're talking about is, basically the library's ask for next fiscal year.
Oh.
It's budget time, so there's just a lot going on.
But getting back to your draft here, acknowledging Christie's work and in much appreciation for the deep dive and yours as well, I would make a motion that we would accept this policy as written right now.
Do you have, before we go on with that, do you have any comments, Rick?
Yeah, I'm just reading this over twice in the original work that Kristen's done.
Which I stole a lot from.
I would like it to keep it as simple as possible, and I don't think we should put the burden on describing what the Canby Public Library Foundation does and what the Friends of the Library does. I think we should refer folks to them, encourage them, or whatever nice word you want to put in there to move it forward, to let them know that the library itself is not in the nonprofit, you know, position, basically, not that word, but we are not able to accommodate those type of services. However, we recommend you contact Friends or the foundation without going into a lot of detail. Let the Friends and the foundation describe what they're going to tell the particular patron what they're going to take and not take. Because we're putting ourselves in a position of representing with all the verbiage.
Well, there's,
It's all correct, don't get me wrong.
okay, but, so I just want to say one thing. In the past, when we've suggested links, hyperlinks to those sites, you have voted against those. Because we could just put the language that they have in there and not force people to use hyperlinks. That's really what I'm suggesting doing. It's just putting the verbiage that the Friends have in the policy and same with the foundation, and I didn't recheck the foundation, so that's why I left that as unfinished. So that you don't need a hyperlink.
This is verbatim information from the Friends?
The foundation is not.
Okay, but the Friends is verbatim information. Okay,
It's
thank you.
verbatim what used to be in there. I haven't checked it, so. But yeah, that's why I was thinking of trying to avoid hyperlinks. And it is, to me, yeah, you can separate them out, and that's in the past, honestly, what I have done.
Mhm.
But it is one, are we looking at it holistically or by parts, I guess, is the whole. And I don't mind saying that if you have something that isn't accepted, consider the Kiwanis, because the Kiwanis does donate money to the library every single year, or to the Friends or the foundation, but they donate to the library. So, and I agree with you, we should not be writing stuff that they have not said, which is why I kind of went da-da-da-da. It's not done, because I don't even know what the foundation says about itself anymore. I'm not even sure that there's anything out there. There was a long time ago, but.
And Rick, I totally agree with your point 100%, except for that from the patron experience, they really should be able to go to the library website and find out what the process is without having to go over to the Friends or over to the foundation or over to the Kiwanis and back. It might be frustrating. So fundamentally, I agree with you. If we aren't that organization, which is why I was saying we ought to check with the Friends to make sure they want all this art. But I do agree with
Yeah,
you. But I also think that
Yeah.
we owe our patrons clear communication on how to do the simple thing that they want to do.
Okay.
Let
me modify my comments then, because what I want to make it simple too. I want to make it simple for a walk-in person as well as a non-computer linked person. Okay. And I'm thinking that, and also to help the staff out. Okay, 3 kind of areas. So I would kind of, just for discussion purposes only, I would prefer that these 2 organizations sign off on what we're handing or putting in a link to the general public. So there's no misunderstandings, is what my point is. And a lot of times, somebody just wants to know from a staff member, what do I do with this? I've got this, I've got money, or I got art, or whatever the thing is, whatever the point is. And I think with, maybe Marissa wants some comments, I think there's something in writing that could be a handout in addition to a link. I would suggest both, because some people do everything on computers. Other people don't have, I'm on a computer about once every 3 days. So.
I love the
it
idea of
varies.
a handout as well
Yeah,
as the
yeah,
link.
just the
I love
support
it.
thing, and then nobody's explaining anything here. They have this, and this has been approved by the 2 organizations, and we're kind of semi-representing them, or at least referring them.
We have buy-in from them,
We have,
from Kiwanis
And we could also.
Foundation.
yeah,
and
exactly,
Friends.
just to clear the air, because there's people changed with these nonprofits all the time, and it could be a lot of informal information, but it's good to have backup with some, written hard copies of things.
We could also, for people who we could also include a hyperlink for the Canby Public Library Foundation, because there is, and for the Friends of the Library, for people who would prefer a hyperlink online. But I do agree with you that we should have a handout as well.
Yeah.
To make it much, much easier, so that everybody gets the same information.
Yeah,
know.
and I just don't want to have the staff be in a position to try to, verbally explain
No.
things.
No.
So handouts, hyperlinks, buy-in from the 3 different
Yes.
other outside groups,
Yeah,
and
buy-in from the library staff?
The only thing I can tell you is that there are people that are not gonna read the website, not gonna go on there, they're not gonna read the handout, they're still gonna come to staff and ask about everything. So honestly, I would make it as simple as possible. I would include hyperlinks on the website. Because honestly, a lot of this information is just gonna come from staff. They're gonna totally bypass everything else.
Well, do you think it would help the staff, though, to have, yes, we have information on that for you, so that people feel like, hey, people were prepared to talk to me? And I'm just thinking of, like, as Jennifer said, from a patron experience, I come in and I say, I want to donate, my grandmother's painting to the library. So let's talk about that. Now, we need to still, I would like to come up with a policy so we can say we came up with one, and still then, if the Friends agrees to do the art thing, and I have no idea if they would or not, then that could be added or changed, modified at that date.
Yeah, I mean, I just recommend it being simple and easy because one of the things that I know will happen a lot is that if people don't get the answer they want, they will just keep asking questions until it happens.
It's called answer shopping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they'll go to different staff members too. They'll wait around for the next person. Like, this is what we see all the time. So I would just make it simple. That way staff can say, this is what it says. That's all that is the policy.
So are you saying the short version or the expanded version?
I'm saying like for the library advisory board, a quick snippet, here's the links on how to donate certain materials. Foundation, Kiwanis, regular. And then each of those groups can put more information. I don't think that we need to put their information on this specific page. I think we just need to say, this is the policy, go to these places if you have items you want to donate, or whatever you're going to donate. But I do think it needs to be clear, because if it's not clear, then people will keep asking questions until they get what they're.
Answer shopping is going to be a problem no matter what, you know, that it always is.
But if we have all the clear and concise information, at least for the library staff, that can hopefully, lighten their burden.
Well, and I was trying to, the reason I included the Kiwanis and Retro Revival at the end is because I think there's a lot of people in town who don't realize that. And, if you're like, oh, yeah, I have this stuff, and I know people who have donated things to Retro Revival on the condition that any proceeds go to the library, because they already sell a lot of the antique books and stuff like that, but they've also sold, like, somebody sold some antique dolls, and on the condition, they donated them to Retro on the condition that the proceeds, minus, handling charges, the 3% from the credit card fees. So it's just like, to me, bringing out information, there's a lot more going on in the community than just, there's more than just the Friends and the foundation.
And here's how we're all connected.
Yeah.
So what if we did this? What if we took the expanded version and at the very top of it, we said, here's how to donate, and just did bullet points with links?
Yeah, I would say like to donate books or contact someone, go to the friend. To donate items, go here. To donate blah, 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 go there. I would say to donate these items or contact those people, click on this link. That way they're not asking staff. If you want to donate something that it doesn't say on here, contact this group.
But then below that, could we have the expanded version? Or attached to that page, could we have that expanded version so that we have the explanation for the deep divers and the quick links for the staff to say, here's where you go. If you want to read more about it, but ultimately, go
Like
to one of
you've got
these
the
places.
bottom line up front, and then you've got the descriptions of how the interconnectedness down below.
It sounds like both these needs are important. So what if we did them both on one policy? Would that create a chaos for the library
Yeah,
staff?
I just think it would be, my person, is that it would be easier for a staff member, especially like, you've got some new hires, to say, oh, yeah, here. Let's review this, to have something to rather than to say, and if the person said, well, it's like, well, you have something concrete to discuss with somebody as opposed to, and, with some of our older patrons, giving them a list with hyperlinks doesn't work. So you've got to have more information than that. We've gotten feedback to that effect, that there are people who want a written explanation and not just a hyperlink. Hyperlinks are great for younger people. They're not so great for older people. My husband's one of them. If there's with hyperlinks in it, he won't read it. But he wants, he wants a written explanation. He's old. What can I say? So we have to decide what to do.
I would, again, reiterate that I would prefer that it keep it simple to Marissa's point, and give enough information that the patron is confident that can be serviced properly without, on the flip side, without taking a lot of staff's time explaining this piece of paper, because someone's going to bring up questions on the paper. Well, I got this doesn't fit into I got this donation, it doesn't fit in. And then it opens up a whole can of worms that we don't want to go to because they have a regular job to do. And they end up becoming in the middle of things. That's my perception of what could happen.
That's what will happen more often than not.
Exactly, because you don't know where it's going to go. My point is, we're not these organizations, but we're happy to refer people, and you can add other organizations. Maybe there's, I don't know, Rotary, maybe there's, some other organizations that would participate, and maybe they want to be involved. But the thing is that we could refer to anything that we feel comfortable referring to, so it's basically a referral. And I don't know, I'm not sitting here, hailing these patrons to come in, so I don't know what happens every day. I'm just perceiving that can happen more than once a week or month. So I'm still leaning towards the referral type information, on a handout basis, as well as the link, covers both areas. And if there's a phone call at the desk, staff member, the newest person, it could be a donation, file, or at their desk, and just say, okay, this is what you can do, and give it over the phone.
So one of the issues that I see, and I know this is an issue with the Friends, and I don't know about the foundation, is that there is nobody from the Friends board who wants like their name out there. So you have to go to just this generic email. There's no phone number associated with it. So we can't be giving out that specific of information. And I think the foundation's probably the same way. I really don't know much about the foundation.
Well, there's also the Friends brochures. Here's the Friends. Here's the Friends of the Library brochure.
Yeah.
They don't have anything with the foundation. We have to give them links for the foundation probably, or maybe who's on the foundation, that should be public information. But not without phone numbers and so forth. But,
Yeah.
But I would say, here's an here's the deal. Here's your deal. Here's your Friends of the Library brochure. And here's our policy for the library itself.
So the policy is basically that the library doesn't accept stuff.
That's exactly what we're trying to get to
Yes.
here. Yeah.
Is that you go through the Friends of the Foundation, and there are other sources in Canby that provide support to the library. Okay, I'll go back and rewrite it.
I'm not in love with that. I really love what you wrote, and I have to say, I understand the need for brevity, but if a patron wants to come in and have a conversation about how to get educated on how to donate their beloved goods to the benefit of the library, and yes, it takes staff time, isn't that what we exist for as people who serve the taxpayers, is to educate them on how to spread the love and donate the items? And if 90% of the time, and maybe it's not, and maybe I need to know this, maybe it's 30% of the time, but if 90% of the time they just need to know where the Friends of the Library book bin donation drop is, isn't that enough without differentiating, well, this arm and this facet, and this is what we do and this is what we don't do? Couldn't we just collectively come together and serve this great organization that serves our city? I feel like that's what we should exist for. I mean, obviously it's not, but if people are trying to give back to an organization that is giving the ability for people to have access to knowledge, I just feel like
So I wrote this from the approach of that it's a community library we live in a fairly small community and making it much, much more community-oriented, you know? And that's why I mentioned the Kiwanis and Retro Revival, because we're in a community. This is not just a standalone item.
Right.
You know, this is, and this, by the way, and I should point out, this is a library policy, not a library advisory board policy. I mean, our job as part of the library board is to recommend policies, but ultimately, you know, Marissa is the library director, you know, and the library staff have to enforce this. So we have to, so I'm looking at it from the community perspective. And that's how I approach this, is just, you know, so.
And I'm not trying, I want to backtrack and say I am not trying to not support the library staff. I just know that when I walk in the door to a library and I want to donate to the library, I don't want to have to go call some random place to figure it out. So we're moving in the right direction. Understand we've been revisiting this and trying so hard. And I think that it's great discussion and we're getting there, but I guess maybe I'm just looking at it from the patron's perspective instead of the library staff's perspective. And I think, Rick, to your point, I think there has to be a balance there that I'm not quite wrapped around yet, because I'm looking from the community. So I don't know what to do. What do we do?
Well, it's up to us to make a proposal for this. Tiffany?
I think that your idea of compromise is good, and I like your idea of bullet points at the top with hyperlinks. If you have this, go here. Here's a link for that information. If you have this, go here. If you have this, go here. And then I like the idea of the explanation below that ties everything together, which I would pull straight from what you already wrote.
Okay, so I'm going to redo this with bullets and hyperlinks first. And I'm going to check with both the foundation and the Friends on the part below that, so they would confirm. This is stuff that we've said before, but there's a new board, so I should double check with them. And the foundation, I don't even know who's on the foundation anymore. I'll go online. Two people. Is Roger Reef still one of them? No, oh, that's too bad. So is that a plan? Everybody was in agreement with that?
I would just reiterate Rick's point of non-computer users and put the email address and or phone number to each of the organizations there so that they had them on a handout if needed. And I think it's a lovely plan.
Okay. I have an action. Okay, that's that. And the whole art thing, I think that makes sense to ask the Friends about that. Yeah.
As a non-board member of the Friends, who is a member of the Friends, we are in support.
Well,
I
and
speak for us when I say we are in support of an art
we
show.
have done it before. So the Friends have done it before. I need to stop saying we. Where was my original report? So the second part of my report was a presentation to the City Council. We need to get to that later. So that was Lois. Okay, any other board member reports? There's still no LDAC, so Amy's off the hook. Yeah. Oh, Linda. Is Luke's information in here?
Yeah.
I'm just missing it.
Yeah, it's right before, it should be right before.
Here, do you want mine?
Oh, thank you. So Luke
It is.
did a report on what he did Everybody had a chance to read it. And he'll be back in April, so he's still, and I thought he had said that there were, I thought he had said that there were some candidates. Maybe it was Linda that told me that. So Linda did,
Says that there were 3
Yeah.
applications.
yes, and Linda did deliver the information to all the junior high schools as well as the high schools. So that was what she asked me, when she called me this morning to say she was sick. She asked me to pass that on. So Linda did do that. And this is kind of, I like an organization where I don't have to be involved in everything. You know, Linda just took it and she owned it and she did it and it's done. And we have 3 people who, so, and we haven't talked about the interview, but I really do think that we kind of want as many people as possible in the interviews for the students. I don't know how we're going to do that, but we'll figure it out, because it seems like that people have expressed, everybody has expressed an interest in sitting in on that.
If you read his report really closely, he says no one has returned the application.
So 3 people took them out, so.
So I was wondering, I mean, we're basically, we haven't moved forward.
So I will ask Linda to check with the person, her contact at the library. How's that?
Perfect.
I mean,
If I can help, let me know. I know some people in the school district
Oh.
because I used to work at the high school.
I will tell her that. Because right now, with how she's feeling, she might want some help.
Okay.
Um,
You know, there's the Bob Battle of the Books.
Yes.
group.
Oregon, yeah.
Oregon Battle of the
Yes.
Books.
So I think that there are lots of kids that would be very, very interested in serving on board here, but it's a matter of identifying them and then approaching them. And I think that the school counselors, not just at the high school, but all the schools, the school counselors, the library assistants, and maybe even the language arts teachers could identify kids that would really benefit from an experience like this.
I think Linda went to the school librarians with these. I would not swear on a stack of Bibles to that effect, but I thought that's who she told me she was going to see.
So I remember, well, and I also know Sue Winter, who's the career coordinator. So there are lots of kids that kind of gravitate towards adults when they're in high school, and the teachers or the staff get to know them really well and would know of their interests. Like if they've ever been a office aide in the office or in the counseling department. Like a lot of the kids that sign up to be an office aide might also be, and then the leadership council, they could be naturally gifted for being on this board.
Do you want to reach out to Linda directly?
I will.
Yeah, I think that, you know, she's at home sick, she might like to hear from somebody else too. Any other comments on the student thing? Because we need to get, definitely, we do need to get moving on that before we move on. Because I think Marissa's next on the agenda.
Okay, so this was the bi-monthly report that I submitted fairly recently to the mayor and city council. Basically, everything was just crazy in January, February. We made more library cards than we normally do, filled more holes, had more checkouts, had more check-ins, had more events, more visitors. It was just a busy 2 months. We have a current library intern who's in her master's program right now, Ember, who's been working with us. She started in January and she's been helping us out with just a lot of tasks that we needed to get done. And then also we've been trying to show her basically just the entire process of how a public library runs. So some of this has already kind of been completed, this was for January, February, but we did officially hire our new librarian. His first day is today. It's Steven. He was a 20-hour assistant, but he got our library position. So now his position will be taken until we get that filled. And then we had interviews today for the adult programmer position. We did not make a choice. We'll be either doing another interview or something along the lines, because we've had two really strong candidates. As far as spaces go, I'm sure you guys have seen, but we moved some of the shelving units to the very front of the library, just so Lucky Day is like right out on display there, and then also got more of our new stuff in there and just a little bit more organized. We're in the process, so we actually created an adult graphic novel and paperback display, but we actually just added a new shelving unit over there, so we're gonna be doing a little bit more collection movement, so don't be surprised if you see some more stuff moving around. Programming went really well in January, February. The biggest, I think honestly the most fun event we had was the goat story time, which we included a picture in there. So we had four Nigerian goats that were in the library, and it was just such a fun event. So Philip did a story time, and then basically everybody got to come hang out with the goats, including library staff, and we found out that their favorite food is dried pasta, which is hilarious because when they eat it, it's very loud, and you just want to laugh a little bit. So that was fun. Winter reading challenge ended at the end of February.
How many participants did you have in that?
We didn't count how many participants because eventually there was just too many bingo cards going out, but we had a little over 50 finishers,
Oh,
which is actually a fairly good amount, but that was just people who actually turned in their login time.
I turned my login in.
Let's see, we recently started having Brandon Leonard, the Canby Police Department's behavioral health specialist, come in and have office hours on Thursdays. So he's been doing that every Thursday at different periods of different hours. So there's a morning hour and then an evening hour. And that's just really to connect patrons to resources if they need them. And we've already had quite a few people use him as a resource. And we have also been trying to make sure it's known that he is not a police officer. He sometimes, has stuff on that looks like he's a police officer, but he's not. He's very kind, he's very friendly, very warm, very open, and just really an awesome person to have in the library on Thursdays right now. And so he's going to be here. Honestly, we don't have an end date. I feel like he's not needed, which I doubt is ever going to happen. We got some handheld and rolling baskets, which are in the front of the library. Those are super fun, and people have been using them to put all their holds in baskets and take them to the desk, so that's really funny. We've also been trying to create a lot of humorous social media posts around that and some other stuff, so that's why you see those pictures in there. We had a bunch of that. I'm the one who's dropping all the books. We are doing Fun Shirt Friday. It was actually just a staff thing, but now we've opened it up to the community. So if people come in with a fun shirt on Fridays, they get a little ticket, write their information, and they get entered into raffles for prize drawings and whatnot. So that's been really fun. And then, let's see, we started our new library open hours. That's been going really well. I haven't heard any complaints.
I've seen people coming in after 6
Yeah,
o'clock.
yeah. I mean, obviously with, it being lighter later, it hasn't really felt any different for us, so. The only problem now is that I'm using that as an opportunity to stay even later working. My husband's mad at me, so I'll deal with that. Candy Reads actually just concluded. We gave away all 100 copies of our book, Clara and the Sun. They did a book discussion. I don't know if you guys have been on social media. Stephen, our new librarian, and Melissa, one of our library assistants, made a really funny video trying to promote the discussion. So if you haven't seen it, I would go on it. It's really funny. And then, so our seed library is almost completely done, and then we'll be able to get that out actually into the library so people can start grabbing seeds. But if you don't know, a seed library basically is just a place where we collect seeds and store them, and then community members can come take the seeds and plant them. They can also bring seeds back and label them and put them out there too. We're one of a few different libraries who've recently started those up. Some libraries have already had them, but we are going to be starting ours up. We have most of the items that we need for it, but there's a couple things that we're waiting on to get here in order to start that. And then I wanted to give you guys some good news. My goal when I first became director was to get a grant within 6 months, and I did.
Yay!
So basically, with the State Library of Oregon, we got a grant to hire a summer team intern and pay them. So basically, it's May, but it's not gonna be till June for us, but between June and the end of August, we're gonna be basically bringing on a team intern who will be able to work for us and learn about the library, and they'll be getting paid $20 an hour.
Wow.
Yeah, and just really learning about kind of what we do at the library and, contributing in that way. And we'll actually be going through a normal HR process to interview a bunch of different candidates and bring on one of them. The good news about this grant is that you can apply for it again the following year, so hopefully I'll be able to get that again. That was very exciting.
So the person has to be 16,
They have to be a team.
so they can be 14,
So
15?
they have to at least be 14 to work in the library, so between 14 and,
So you think that we could tie this some way to the Library Advisory Board?
I mean, it's
No.
possible, but I'm not entirely sure because it has to go through HR.
Yeah,
I don't know if we'd be able to do the two things at once, but we could certainly tell them that there's that
Yeah.
opportunity during those.
I would think that would be very attractive to someone
Yeah, I would think so too.
who didn't want to go out and pick strawberries.
Yeah, and then another thing I was gonna tell you guys, so, the first Thursday in May, during First Thursday, so I think it's May 2nd, we're gonna be doing a library open house, which is gonna be a part of First Thursday. So we're gonna have a bunch of different stations set up in the library where people can come learn about the different kinds of things that we do and we provide, like a library things petting zoo, where they'll be able to like look at the items to see what they can check out. So that'll be going on First Thursday from 5 to 8 on May 2nd. We'll be doing a lot of other stuff around that time, and I'll give you guys more information as we come up with it. But that is going to be our kickoff for First Thursday, and then from then on, we're going to be continuing to be open for First Thursday. Although we were given permission to only be open from 5 to 7, the notes between 5 to 8. So we will be contributing to First Thursday from here on out.
So
Doing
is Pat,
special fun
because
stuff.
Patty used to do special sales for First Thursday.
Yes. Yeah, and so
Yes.
I'm gonna be talking to someone from the Friends. Patty's going on vacation,
Yes.
so it might be someone else, but just trying to get as much info as possible. We want to do some fun stuff during that first one, since we'll be open till 8. Like, we want to give people a tour of the back workroom. We just want them to see kind of some of the stuff that's behind the scenes that they haven't seen before. So that'll be really fun. And then also, we're in the process of, I hope I'm not speaking too soon about this, but we are going to be getting a teen mural put in the teen room. We already have an artist who actually did a program with us last summer reading. It's going to be kind of like anime graphic novel themed, but we're hoping for that First Thursday library open house, we'll have a couple different designs that the teens and other people can vote on. And then we'll put it up there. That's very exciting.
We talked about having a mural in that room many years ago, when this library was first built.
We sure did. And then a bunch of stuff got in the middle of that, but we're back on it again. So
Good.
Very
That's great
excited
to
about
hear.
that. I think that's all the updates I have for you right now. We're in the middle of budget stuff right now. I am trying to work on coming up with all that stuff, and I'll share that with you guys once I have more concrete numbers. But things are going really well, and really excited to bring on our new adult program or whatever we decide that's going to be.
Any questions for Marissa?
Just a quick one, little nitpick question. On the Lucky Day Space Area, which I like, it's beautiful setup, great, a lot of space, a lot of information there. I used it within the last, I guess, week, and and I don't know if the signage is still there, but it says when you return the Lucky Day books, you're supposed to return them physically to the check-in desk. And
I've never done
I asked the checkout person, I forget who I talked to about that. I said, you know, I just noticed that the last time because I'm using it for some reason a lot lately. And I know, I said, well, I apologize because I put it in, Dropbox out in the alley. She says, he said, oh, that's all right, that's okay. So I didn't know whether it's okay or not, or whatever.
Yes, you can return them
Oh,
wherever.
oh.
We usually tell people if they want to check out more Lucky Day items, because there's a limit to bring them to the desk, so we can check it in for you and you can check out more. You can return them wherever.
We can
you
return them
want.
through the box.
Yeah.
It's still a 14-day rule or
Yes.
whatever. I understand that.
Yes.
But I thought maybe it's not gonna be checked in properly in time. You're gonna miss it 2 days or a day or two or something. So I didn't,
So for check-in stuff, I'll tell you guys this too. We do something called backdating. So like, let's say you return something today, but we don't check it until tomorrow. We backdate it to today, so it checks in under.
so you get credit for it, yeah, okay.
But the Lucky Day stuff, we have so many patrons that check out their max amount every time they're here. And so basically, if you want, same here. If you want to check out more, we just usually tell people it's best to take them to the desk so we can check them right in and you can check out more. If you still want to check out more and you tell a staff member like, oh, I
Yeah.
put it in the book drop, but I want to check out more, let them know. and
Okay.
we can figure that
Okay,
out.
well, it's good to know.
It's just a recommendation.
It's-
that you can
Okay, because I didn't know how strong that sign, how strong that was, so
Yeah.
it was saying, please return all Lucky Days to the front for the desk, so,
That's just in case you want to check out more.
okay. Okay, all right, thank you. Thank you, that's all I need to know, thank you.
Any other questions for Marissa? So the Friends of the Cambria Library report, as Marissa was saying, that Patty, who's the bookstore manager, is gone for 5 weeks. It's going to be Susan Bitter who's in charge for did she copy you on this note? Yes, you're copied on it, so. But the thing that's really interesting is that the sales for February were almost $1,300 for a short month. And the bookstore has been doing really well. It's fully staffed. I mean, it gets cleaned and updated daily, except for Sunday, because, it's obviously, library's not open Sunday, but it's really, stuff comes through quickly. We get out there quickly. It's cleaned, it's organized, it's sorted. So it's been doing really, really well. This is March is Women's History Month, and then I don't think we have another History Month until it's Indigenous Peoples History Month, which I think is in October or September, October, something like that. So that's the only report that I have from the Friends. We're running out of time here, so there is a teen application form, and we should have we should take a look at that. Linda just wanted to make sure that everybody had a chance to see it and make any comments on it. I think we've been through this before, but Linda was asked to add a few things to it, so she did it.
Somewhere else.
Any questions or comments about it?
I think it looks great.
I do
I
too.
think it's good, yeah. Just to put it here. Make sure I'm looking at the right thing. I read it, I just put it in the wrong area. Just it here?
Yep.
Okay.
So Marissa, you can tell that there's definitely a very, very different feel in the library these days, that people are much more positive and upbeat.
It's honestly, like, the past couple months have just been amazing, like.
180-degree difference.
Staff have been happy being here, volunteers, on-calls. We got, Human Being brought us a bunch of like free coffee a couple weeks ago, and then Burgerville brought us a bunch of stuff yesterday. I mean, it's just, everyone's feeling good. It's good.
So we only have 5 minutes left. So in terms of the draft for the city council report. That, the first part, the only thing that changed was the change to Scott Sassy. No changes of the city charter. The only changes are to the report itself. And I don't like using words, functions to show changes because it's very confusing. But do we still want to ask Christy and Luke to speak? And anyway, I just wanted, so there's basically, it's an 18-month report. The fact that there was no survey, and I'm sorry, but Danny promised us there'd be a survey. So, and I know that Eileen told me that Danny was wrong, but I still want to point it out that we, the Library Advisory Board, were promised that we could have a survey.
I have 2 updates to that. One's not really that much of an update. So the library open house I was telling you about, we have a short survey we're going to be actually rolling out probably beginning of April, and that open house will be the closing date. And this is what partially some of the data that we're going to be using in the new strategic plan. And then Eileen and city administration, they just worked on all the city council goals with city council for the next coming fiscal year, and a community survey is like one of the top goals. So I do believe that will be happening likely next fiscal
Yeah, because the problem with the survey that was done, the last survey that was done, it was only done to people who came into the library. And that's not what we're trying to get to. We're trying to get to people who don't come into the library. I still feel like it's valid to put in there, but I would leave it. Yes.
Yeah, I would leave it so city council knows that, yes.
Yeah, we were,
we
you know,
definitely want this.
the next paragraph is about getting programming back to pre-COVID levels. I think that we're close to there in programming. The issue was that the library wasn't open. This is why I want to make an 18-month report, because the library is now open. And so we're addressing that. We're still not there. And I wanted to make that clear, but it's being addressed. So that's like, it's in process, I guess is the way of saying it. The next one was the education. And I do think it's important to talk about this one because the whole idea that we have a draft of, which we haven't looked at in a while, but to me, it's always going to be a draft because the whole idea of, making sure that people who come on board understand the history, that we update it regularly, the things that we accomplish when we write a policy and get it approved and things like that. And the fact that we're doing, people are getting a tour of the library. So there's a new library advisory board member orientation because that didn't happen very consistently in the past. Because the non-monetary gifts, we're still working on it. So the issues, the library hours, the lack of evening and Sunday hours. And I think it's still fair to say it's our conclusion that the residents of Cambia are not being adequately served by the current hours the library is able to provide to Cambia area residents. We used to be open to 8 o'clock at night and we were open on Sundays, The rest of it, well, definitely about the bilingual stuff needs to be in there as well. I'm willing to take out the paragraph about, thinking of the future, as we said, our high school graduates off to college or post-secondary. I just feel, again, I'm trying to think of it. And then the last, the part in yellow, I don't know about that either. I think there's one way of saying we understand that there's, we all deal with basic economics. What's the best use of scarce resources? We all don't have unlimited money and time and stuff like that. I don't know how to put that in there. So rather than going on this, is there anybody who would like to meet with me to hammer on this some more?
I'll meet with you.
Okay. Christy? Because you can do it during the week. You can, Tiffany can't, Jen can't.
I'll work with Linda on the
Teen
team.
stuff, thank you.
Yeah.
That would be wonderful.
But I
Okay.
hear you calling out the draft of the library history, the open hours, the donation policy, the survey or lack thereof, and the bilingual disconnect. So there's like 5 major things in our report that are either we've made accomplishments in 18 months or we're going to.
Yeah, that's, yeah,
There's meat in there.
yeah.
You're right.
And
Yeah.
I think, I'm thinking now that, you know, with the things that have changed, that I think that this should, I mean, I made some changes and I put a whole bunch of stuff in yellow because I think more need to be made, but this is one of those things that I don't want to have to do it all myself. And I think what we've done in the past, I know that when Susie was the chair, that we'd meet here in the library and I'd bring my computer, we'd sit and we'd talk and type. So that's what we'll do. I'll reach out to you guys.
I think,
Um,
sorry.
Is next week spring break for you?
Yeah, the school district is next week.
Yeah, it's not an issue, because your kids are older. Right, okay, so,
To your point of having Luke and Christy speak, I think it would be very powerful if they would.
I'm all for having more people than me speak, this does not have to be a Lois show, you know? I actually like the idea of, you know, I mean, to me, Luke represents an entire generation that missed out on teen programs at the library. You know?
Quick question, maybe I missed something in the discussion here. Do you have a date, do we have a date with the city council yet? on-
Yes, thank you for asking. I was going to ask
Sorry
that.
about that.
So April is full,
Oh,
May possibly, but that's also when budget stuff is coming. This is just a crazy time. So it really depends on how long you want this to be, the presentation. I can get us squeezed in somewhere, but I need to know how long we're gonna need and we need the report.
okay. Okay, because, yeah, we could make it shorter, and I do think that sooner.
Or you can leave it just as long and just make the presentation shorter.
Well, and, you know, I mean, there are definitely parts of the presentation that they're going to be handed stuff, but it's not going to be in the that's not going to be in the verbal presentation. You know, the introduction of I want them to know that, you know, this is a very diverse, with lots of depth, both in business and in residents and in, you know, involvement in Canby. But that doesn't have to be part of the presentation. I was just going to introduce people and have them stand up.
I would really honestly just get this solid and then
Yeah.
basically a boiled down version, yeah.
For the actual presentation.
Yeah, I could get us fit in somewhere, I'll just have to double check, there's just a lot coming up.
Yeah, okay,
So to be announced.
so to be announced.
So nothing before April.
Nothing before April, so
Okay.
we have time. I'm going to suggest that somebody make a motion that we close the meeting.
I will make a motion to close the meeting.
Everybody in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
everybody, for coming out on a Tuesday. Yeah.